The 2026 MotoGP season is not merely approaching. It is a gathering storm of unprecedented proportions, and its epicenter is located deep within the secretive factory walls of Yamaha. The arrival of Toprak Razgatlıoğlu is far from a standard professional debut. It is a meticulously calculated act of vengeance designed to shatter the existing hierarchy. For years, the Turkish phenom has carried the weight of past snubs, and his return to the Yamaha fold is a direct declaration of war against the established order. This is not about participation, it is about the total neutralization of Fabio Quartararo's long-standing reign. Toprak isn't coming to play by the rules, he is coming to burn the old playbook and redefine what dominance looks like in the modern era of racing. The tension is palpable as every engineer and mechanic knows that the arrival of this singular force of nature will change the DNA of the team forever, turning a stable garage into a high-stakes battlefield of ego and speed. To grasp the sheer intensity of this move, one must revisit the cold rejection Toprak faced in 2022. Back then, Yamaha leadership chose the path of least resistance, prioritizing the fragile stability of Fabio Quartararo over the raw potential of the Turkish rider. By closing the door on him, they didn't just protect their champion, they planted a seed of deep-seated resentment that has now grown into a towering mission of redemption.
Under the old guard, Toprak was viewed as a risk to internal harmony, a wild card that might upset the Frenchman's delicate psychological balance. But with the administrative guard changing and Lynn Jarvis stepping aside, the barriers have finally crumbled. Toprak returns to Yamaha not out of a sense of brand loyalty, but to prove with undeniable crushing speed that the previous management committed a catastrophic error in judgment. He is here to reclaim a throne that was denied to him, and he intends to make the process as visible and painful for his doubters as possible. During the initial private tests in Valencia, Yamaha deployed a sophisticated psychological and technical strategy known internally as the shadow game. Fearing the immediate impact Toprak would have on the media and rival teams, engineers deliberately handicapped his performance. He was forced to pilot the new V4 prototype with severely constrained electronic parameters, effectively masking his true pace from the prying eyes of the paddock. While public forums discussed his modest lap times with a sense of skepticism, the internal telemetry told a terrifyingly different story of dominance. Behind the scenes, the data confirmed that even with massive electronic restrictions, Toprak's adaptation to the machinery was near instantaneous.
The engineers were in a state of quiet panic. They were witnessing a rider master a complex, high-performance system in a matter of mere laps, a feat that typically requires months of grueling trial and error for even the most elite world-class riders. Toprak Razgatlıoğlu does not just ride a motorcycle, he subjects it to an anarchic violation of the laws of physics that leaves spectators and rivals breathless. His signature style, characterized by impossibly late, violent braking that sends the rear wheel soaring into the air, is a direct challenge to the M1's structural integrity. When the engineering team first analyzed his initial telemetry data, the atmosphere in the garage turned to one of pure shock. The data points indicated braking zones that were, by every conventional mathematical model and racing standard, considered physically impossible to survive. This isn't just a flashy trick for the cameras, it is a fundamental shift in how a MotoGP bike can be manipulated. Toprak pushes the chassis to a breaking point that requires a total overhaul of Yamaha's development philosophy. He is forcing the bike to adopt to his will rather than the other way around, creating a machine that is as aggressive and unpredictable as the man himself. For years, the development of Yamaha M1 has been dictated by Fabio Quartararo's demand for poetic smoothness and high-speed cornering precision.
However, the arrival of Toprak has triggered a seismic shift in the factory's technical direction, signaling the end of the Frenchman's undisputed influence. Toprak demands a brute force approach, a motorcycle that can handle the violent transitions and massive stress of his unique braking mastery. As the engineers begin to prioritize the newcomer's aggressive feedback, the bike is slowly evolving away from the subtle preferences that allowed Quartararo to thrive. This marginalization is not accidental. It is a recognition that the future of the sport may belong to those who can master chaos rather than those who seek perfection. Quartararo now finds himself in a desperate struggle to remain relevant within his own team, as the very machine he helped build is being redesigned to suit the needs of his most dangerous and determined internal rival. Beneath the thin veneer of professional camaraderie and PR-friendly smiles, a brutal Cold War has commenced within the Yamaha garage. Fabio Quartararo, who has long been the undisputed center of gravity for the brand, can feel the ground shifting beneath his feet with every passing day. The atmospheric pressure is rising as the team's focus drifts toward Toprak's exceptional speed and his uncanny ability to adapt to new challenges without hesitation. This is no longer a supportive environment built around a single star. It is a crucible of internal rivalry that threatens to tear the team's cohesion apart.
The psychological toll on Quartararo is immense, as he realizes that his status as the team's primary pillar is eroding. Every fast lap by Toprak is a direct stripe against Fabio's confidence, turning every practice session into a high-stakes duel for alpha status. This internal friction may fuel their speed, but it also creates a volatile environment where one mistake could lead to a total collapse. Toprak's ambitions are not confined to the walls of the Yamaha garage. He has set his sights on the ultimate benchmark of the sport, Marc Marquez. In a bold move that has sent shockwaves through the paddock, Toprak has openly declared that his primary mission is not just winning a championship, but engaging in a direct, no-holds-barred confrontation with the legendary Spaniard. This isn't just trash talk, it's a calculated narrative shift. By targeting Marquez, Toprak is positioning himself as the only rider with the raw aggression and lack of fear necessary to challenge the most ruthless champion of the modern era. He wants to prove that his stoppy style and anarchic braking can unnerve even the most seasoned veteran. This creates a fascinating dynamic for fans. The fearless newcomer, armed with a powerful factory prototype and a deep-seated desire for revenge, going head-to-head with the king of the grid in a battle for the soul of MotoGP.
The pressure on Toprak's shoulders is not merely professional. It is the immense collective weight of national expectation from millions of fans in Turkey. As a national hero, his every move is scrutinized by a country that sees him as their greatest sporting ambassador on the world stage. Under the stern, uncompromising guidance of his mentor, the legendary Kenan Sofuoğlu, Toprak has been forged in an environment where second place is considered a failure. This external pressure, which would crush a lesser athlete, acts as a high-octane explosive fuel for Toprak. He doesn't just ride for himself, he rides for the pride of a nation and the legacy of his mentor. This gives him a psychological edge, a level of mental toughness that is almost impossible to break. He is prepared to take risks that others won't, driven by a sense of duty that transcends the sport itself. In his mind, failure is not an option because he carries the hopes of an entire people with him into every single quarter. One of the most terrifying aspects of Toprak's move to MotoGP is his documented ability to master incredibly complex machinery in record time. During his secretive transition phases, he demonstrated a level of technical intuition that left senior Yamaha electronics engineers baffled. Modern MotoGP bikes are computers on wheels, requiring riders to manage hundreds of settings for traction control, engine braking, and anti-wheelie systems.
Most riders spend an entire season trying to find a feel for these systems, but Toprak achieved a state of total synergy with the bike in a matter of hours. This rapid adaptation means he will be a threat from the very first lights out in 2026, leaving no grace period for his competitors to find an advantage. His ability to process data and translate it into physical performance is his greatest weapon, allowing him to bypass the traditional learning curve and move straight into a position of dominance that threatens to leave the rest of the grid in his wake. As the curtain rises on the 2026 season, the reality of the situation is undeniable. Toprak Razgatlıoğlu is the most dangerous element on the grid, and he is ready to ignite a revolution. He is a force of nature, entirely unconcerned with the traditional hierarchies or the unwritten rules of the MotoGP paddock. He is here to destroy the old ways and rewrite the playbook on his own terms. The civil war at Yamaha is no longer a future possibility. It is a present reality that has already begun to reshape the landscape of the sport. Fabio Quartararo, once the untouchable French king of Yamaha, now finds his crown in genuine jeopardy as he faces a rival who possesses both superior psychological momentum and a machine that is being built to his specifications. The era of the smooth, calculated champion is being challenged by the era of the anarchic, vengeful warrior.
One thing is certain. By the end of 2026, the hierarchy of MotoGP will be unrecognizable, and Toprak will be the one holding the pen.